Mark. Okay, he's probably on the porch. And this is Smokeysteveandmarc. Welcome back, and happy Sunday. Just checking in. A little bit of what we're gonna call dinner. Um, I'm having some toast with strawberry jam, a cup of decaf herbal tea, and a Diet Pepsi. There was no post up for this live, not a community post, because she is not really doing anything in real time as I speak. The last bits of research I had done for our fair lady was that she ate a shit ton on camera and then prepared for what she was calling a 30-hour travel. Um, and that was the last word from her, and that's the last word I think we've heard. I checked her community posts, nothing yet. Um, Here's hoping she was let onto the flight this time, that she had 2 tickets for. We'll see. We'll see. But right now, she's off the radar at present. So she's just not doing a whole lot. At least I think. She's not doing any more. Like, she was trying to wrap up loose ends, is how Chantal is trying to frame everything in the last few videos with the mukbang, and then even before. She's trying to tie up the loose ends of her and Sala having a breakup where, it's mutual, where nobody's hurt more than the other, where nobody instigated it. I mean, that's a nice thing to say. And 2 well-adjusted people who were having a breakup might act like that, but you're not dealing with 2 well-adjusted people. Chantal already laid the groundwork that they're not really separated till she's gone. And then, how do we know she's gone for good? She has said, I'm moving back to Canada for good. Her word means nothing, unfortunately, as far as a lot of us know. And so that doesn't mean a thing. She could get back to Canada and miss Sala, and he's going to need all but a Syrian restraining order to get her to leave alone. It seems like she met Sala at a time in his life where he was just floating. Maybe he had goals, maybe he had dreams, or maybe he had things he wanted to do, but he was just floating. So you give him $50 and he feels like the man. And I think now that he's feeling more himself, he's surrounded by family and he's surrounded by people that care about him and that want what's best for him and don't like her. Don't like her at all. She's everything that you wouldn't want in a wife in that situation. She's no spring chicken. Really. Of course, she was old when they got married. Made her feel like a cougar. Now it's become a reason they can't be together is because, she can't have kids. You couldn't have had kids before you got there. That's not news. And you've always been older. So she's listing out some things now that are irreconcilable differences that initially she said weren't that big of a deal. Oh no, he doesn't mind at all. He doesn't mind at all that I can't have kids. I'm sure his mother doesn't mind that you can't have kids. I don't know. She's in the air like a witch. Like a witch. Hello, with people come in. I'm trying to find the sweet spot with glasses so I can see the chat, but you're not just seeing glare. That's not bad, but I can't move. See? Anyway. So, she's in the air. Now, from her description, it's like a 30-hour flight. But the last time she did a big flight, she stopped in Doha, and there was like a very long layover. She ended up getting a hotel room for the layover so she could seal and eat, unwind from one flight and go on to the next. And even if there were a direct flight, which there may be, I would not put her on a 20-hour flight. Something's going to happen. Something's going to happen. And when you start looking for attention at 30,000 feet, it gets... Yep. So, I'd be more curious when she lands to find out what stuff she left in Syria. I think that would be very telling. Oh, I forgot this. I forgot that. Now, the cat was going to stay. But what else can she leave behind? Oh, I have to go back to Syria. I forgot my pen. She's traveled further for dumber things. It's she always leaves a little something behind so she has a reason to go. And whatever she was, CPAP exactly, whatever she's holding over his head or whatever that part of the bargain was, we're either going into phase 2, because now she's going back to Canada, and the rumor mills are that now that she's going back to Canada and has allegedly paid off her bankruptcy debt, that she could begin a process that would bring Sala to Canada. I don't know if he realizes he could have gone through this whole immigration process for a lot less grief if he just picked another woman, you know? But Julia is the new pawn in the divorce proceedings. She's better off here with him. You didn't want her. You said it would be bad for her to fly. Said, oh, Barbara, welcome to the Smoky Deck. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Shaken, you made it this time. I didn't put an announcement out for this. We're just checking in, and this is as much a chat about Chantal as it is not, because she's not really doing anything at the moment. Any moment now, we should be getting a community post or similar. She might send a post with a picture up mid-travel, like from her hotel window, what have you. Only the nicest for her. And Kelga, hello, hello. And she'll show that, and then maybe something out the window, and then nothing about her getting to wherever her landing spot is. The last time she landed in Montreal, she had to take a bus to visit family. That's a long bus ride from there to there. That'd be like if I landed in Philadelphia and had to get a bus to Scranton from there. It's like a 2.5-hour drive. Hey, Bandit. You guys know Bandit, right? And this is his tail. So, as you know, as you know. Good evening to you too. How long till she gets doxxed? Well, do we want to, let's take the Vegas odds on that. People are very observant, and people will go to great lengths, if only for the challenge, to find out specific information. Chantal could turn her camera accidentally street-bound once, and people will track the grain of the concrete is only this size from camera on its way to, like, tiny little details. Remember the bottle of water? And they figured where she was? Because they only sold that water distributed in certain parts of the world. Like, there's so much that she would have to be careful about that she just won't. She probably figures it's inevitable anyway. But it's going to happen. She's lazy sloppy, maybe, where she can't help herself. She can't help but to dox herself. It's going to be at some point too inconvenient to keep it a secret. So she's like, oh, well, here's what you see. What are you going to do? Send the cops? They've been here a dozen times. Yeah, the cops have been. It's not going to look good that she had all that police interaction, left the country, came back, and what do you want to bet she gets herself into trouble on Canadian soil again? Something. Whatever this, if she's still in some sort of game with Sala, for a long game of him coming to the country and whatever. It's a very long game, and it's enough time to change your mind. Would I trade off leaving a country where I was a refugee to go to an arguably more affluent country? But Chantal was in the way. That's the thing. Chantal was in the way between Syria, Canada, and then here's him. So she'll be doxxed within, I'm going to say day and a half. I'll say day and a half. She'll be careful for a minute. And then she'll get tired of the fuss. Oh, I don't want to put a background up. Oh, I don't want this. I don't want that. Hello and happy Sunday to you too. Mods, members, lurkers. It's a big tent we have here. Big, big tent. Her life will always be chaos, but she thrives on the chaos. It makes her feel like alive. She'll say all the time, I'm a very chill person. I just want to bees. I just want to lay down. I don't want anyone. This is what was interesting. She doesn't want anyone to have expectations of her. She feels like she's being held to some standard while she's there, and she wants to move on with her life where she's not. Because she's sitting there fucking licking her fingers eating during the call to prayer. She's had to give up so much I don't know how she'll assimilate back. How will she do it? How will she make it? The first thing that's going to go is the abaya. We only ever see her from here up for a while anyway. So unless she gets caught in the wild, she's just going to be from here up with the hijab. She thinks she has hair now. You know, we caught that camera turned around and you could kind of see her hair. Her hair was always thin. Whether it was long or short, it was always thin. And you never see Chantal in profile because, well, she's bigger from the side, but also she, her hair looks thinner from the side, if you can believe it. So if she did videos just setting up her apartment, she would. People do like that stuff. People like, it's like, I like hauls. I like grocery hauls particularly. I don't care if you have 5 subs or 150,000. I get into that kind of content. I'm like, what are they buying? What are they saving for? If they have coupons, all the better. And just follow along for that. And there's a market for it. You know, and all you're doing is unpacking your groceries. Certainly resettling into a new place after being away for 3 years, well documented, would make like good content. I don't want expectations. I just want to do whatever I want. Because we were all dying with those high expectations we had for her, right? She doesn't want to be accountable to her husband, even though she lectured everybody else about the perks of being belittled. All of a sudden now she's a little too Western for that and she wants to get out. I feel like I'm silenced here. You knew that coming in. You knew that coming in. All of a sudden now, things that people had pointed out as reasons why it wouldn't work are all the reasons why it's not working. You know, she said they're going to split up and it'll be, you know, he'll do his thing and she'll do hers. They'll always have the cat between them. The cat is the CPAP. The cat is the CPAP. She has to go back. When she was with BB, what was it? Tripod. The tripod was the thing. And she had already moved out, left, and she kept going back again and again. It's like, honey, just cut it. Like a Band-Aid. One motion. Right off. You know, why take it off piece by piece by piece? Why realize piece by piece they don't want you as part of your life? Just accept it for what it is and move on. She doesn't break up cleanly. And she had the same issue with Nader that she had with Salah, which is when they broke up, he moved on too fast. He shouldn't just get onto another girl in 2 days. In her head, a relationship is supposed to have a certain amount of turmoil because she expects, oh, I figured he would this or that. And then, no, how about he just met another girl he liked more and left? You know, and then what does she have to hold a man there? Her purse. You know, it's the unkindest thing, I think, just that is true to say about Chantal, is that she pays for company. She exchanges company. She'll, you know, pay your way as long as you don't leave her alone. And that's how she is. So, yeah, when I think of Chantal, I think of silence. She's so modest and so quick to bite her tongue, and she doesn't want to be around it anymore. She didn't want to be around it to begin with. She's essentially saying now that she's leaving, all this was kind of an act. All of this was kind of just for show. I tried to be this, I tried to be that. So you pretended, pretending to be the kind of person that your husband would want and that your audience would respect. And you left the camera on too long because now your husband doesn't like you and nobody respects you. The next question, though, she didn't really pick people up going into the Kuwait arc. There's new people that I see in the chats that I'm like, how do you not know this in the foodie lore? She's going to lose her shit if Salah ghosts her. Hey, what's she going to do? What's her recourse if he does? To get her all the way to the... That's why the whole family was going to see her off. Make sure she gets on the plane. We will buy the extra seat for her. Get her on the plane. It seems like she didn't want to be there as much as they didn't want her there. And she just sat around the whole time. This whole moving in process, this renovation process, she would throw around the word we very casually, as if she had like she's swinging a sledgehammer too, like she was doing anything. Her place was probably like the rest stop. Video chat with the cat. She's going to stalk Salah now because she wants to get in touch with... I need to know that Julia's okay. Okay, so I need to be able to reach you. That's my cat. It was my cat. You didn't even want it. She doesn't want it. It probably took a liking to Sala, but you could tell that Julia didn't like her. You could tell that her cat thought she was kind of... And animals know. Only as a pet owner now do I get the vibe that, like, my pets can tell if someone's, like, on the up and up or not, or if they're kind of sneaky or not trustworthy. You know, the animals can give a lot more tells. The fact that her animal, Julia, didn't want to be near her at all. What can I tell you? She's staying here with her father. She likes Sala better. It's no big sacrifice. Trust me, not even for the cat to say goodbye. Well, if he drops her like a bad habit with no notice for her, no notice at all, and just stops answering, she will be furious. What she does in the past when that's happened, when she had a breakup with a guy, and the guy thought, well, breakup means breakup, not stalk me for 6 more weeks until I have you arrested. But breakups being breakups, she doesn't do cleanly. She doesn't. She said she can't leave it alone. Him being nice to her after they broke up, in her head, means he wants her back. Like, breaking up and it's, you go your way, I go mine, nobody's fault. It's just, just irreconcilable differences. And they'll agree to that and he'll go his own way. And she'll say, wait, you're not supposed to be that happy that you're breaking up with me. You're supposed to be torn apart inside. But he's not. And that probably hurts more. I think she thought maybe along the way in this, scammy, whatever the hell they had going on, in 3 years, that's enough time that if he was going to fall for you, he would have by now. And he didn't. And the other cultural expectations that she would have to share her man's time with his family and perhaps other people, I don't know. I think she'll put on a little bit of weight. Really, really. Well, she'll put on like 30 pounds quick because she'll miss the food. She gets excited about the food, but she also medicates with food. She eats when she's sad. She eats when she's bored. She eats when she's happy. She just eats. She's a compulsive eater. It's just how she, I know, right? You see Solid, like, drops her off at the airport, and as they're driving back, him and the whole family just chuck their phones out the window. Like, thank God. Thank God for crappy internet. That can be his ongoing excuse, which she would have to understand. Sorry, he's not going to call you babe anymore because, you're not on the same soil. As soon as she touches down in Canada, according to her, they're done. They're done. Oh, God, the munchies. Well, she's, going to hit the dispensary or get it delivered and then have food and that stuff brought to her. She's going to just roll around like a figurative pig in slop when she gets back and can indulge in all of her vices and indulge in all the stuff that she really wants, that she misses. So a whole bunch of nashies, a whole bunch of makeup she doesn't need, a whole bunch of shit. The hoe phase when she comes, well, she's going to sleep around, or she's going to try to. She's going to tell the audience that she is. I've been talking to this guy, and he seems really nice. And the last time she said that, she married him and moved. She may not want to be back in Canada as much as she doesn't have a place to stay in Syria now. She might still have other in the back of her head. She goes from one man to another. She cannot stand to not have attention. The fainting at the airport? No, I didn't believe it. I mean, it's plausible. She may have faked dizziness to get a ride everywhere, but if she fell out, it's a bigger deal. It would be a big spectacle if she fell out in the airport because she wouldn't get back up. She would demand to be taken to a hospital. So no, I don't think it happened. I had a panic attack and I had to go back. I think she got to the airport, or she didn't even go. Either she got to the airport, changed her mind, and made Sala come get her. That would have been the time to ghost her. That would have been the time to leave her at the air. Don't let her get off the plane. Don't let her get off the plane. Before the prayer bell chimes, she needs to be off Syrian soil. It's like this last mukbang of her eating. She got some chicken and fries and other stuff. And she's eating and binging and talking about, what's going to be left behind. And she's lying her ass off the whole time. She's like gonna hold on to memories of shit that didn't happen. I'll always remember the time Sala made me dinner. We didn't show you guys that, but he had made me this beautiful spread. He was so happy and so proud of himself. And, as his wife, I was so, like, old stories of nice things Sala used to do, because she's going to have to sound like she missed something. Slovenly is the word. Slovenly is the word. And this, again, I feel like it's worth bringing up again. She says she didn't gain any weight. If you didn't gain any weight, why the can't you walk? Why do you need handicap access to get around? Why do you consider getting a Jazzy? I don't see it. Lisa, thank you, thank you. Thank you for the super sticker, much appreciated. Yeah, this whole time she threw out a little smoke bomb with I think I have a broken hip. If Chantal had a broken hip, she would still be talking about it. She'd be streaming from the plane talking about it. So, capsize fees. Yeah. So, she's not as, everyone knows Chantal's not sincere. That's not news. But the fact that even if someone had joined her channel a week ago, they'd be able to smell this bullshit. She's got a diagnosis for every plan. No matter what you want her to go do, she can't do it. Oh, no, I can't. I'm afraid to get in the car. I'm afraid to walk down to the beach. I'm afraid to walk down this little incline. What does bring me back with her dishonesty and illnesses, though, early when they went to the beach, early in her being there, I think it was within the first year, she went with Sala and they went for a walk. There was a video of her essentially dragging her left foot behind her and pulling forward with the other. I didn't see any video of her doing that since, but also her clothing came all the way to the ground, and he wouldn't film her really walking. He would only film her kind of sitting or posing or ordering food or something like that. Afraid of the curb, yes. Hey Panda, how are you? So, Now, she's excited in the last couple streams to make her grocery list. These are Chantal's priorities because she's obsessed with food. When she's not eating, she's thinking about what she's going to eat next. Before she's done with this piece of toast, she's already eyeing which one she wants next. Well, good. It's nice to have you here. So she couldn't make those things. Now, it's either there's only so many options for why she can't walk if she hasn't gained weight. She developed some sort of disability, or she's been so inactive for so long that she might have lost muscle tone enough to walk around comfortably. Last time we mentioned this, she had said she could only walk a little bit at a time and have to sit down. So if she can't say it's from being fat, sciatica is another one to put out there. Yeah, a scooter. What's she gonna do? She's not going anywhere. Last winter, she would go out for just the bare necessities. Everything else she would have delivered. And she had enough money coming in 3 years ago that she could order all that kind of stuff. She could order groceries. She could get HelloFresh. And she could get all her wheelchairs. And there was money left over. She's not walking back into the same money now. She's already complaining about how the cost of everything is so high. Compare that to the cost of living in Syria, where she was probably living like a queen. I don't have to do anything because I pay for everything. So let the unwashed masses build a house around me. Yeah, her cardio is so bad. Getting up takes her breath away. Sometimes she'll just even be sitting, and if she's talking too much or chewing too much, she's like, whew. Honey, if you're too winded to eat just from sitting still, then there's other stuff, bigger issues going on. I would say her complete, like, if I weighed, 180 pounds, but I essentially sat around for 3 years with very little movement except to the bathroom and back, you lose a little fitness there. You use it or lose it. Well, she's banking on getting the food fixes. This is what's going to make her day. She's going to go back and I imagine her just taking her rental car and going through every single drive-through she can, locking herself up somewhere. inactivity, uncontrolled diabetes. It could be. It could be the glass in her toe that's been there for a fortnight or two. So, but we'll see. What's interesting is when she goes back, she's not going to have a car, but she'll have a rental, I guess, until she can come up with something. And Chantal, I think, is banking on big checks from here on out. So she did all the begging and all of that stuff, and then we're here. So now, how does she earn money from here on out? That big check is coming for the next one, and then we roll into Christmas, and ads are worth more. So you think she'd be making more videos, making more lives to throw ads in, you know, whatever way you want to go at it, she would be doing a little bit more because it's a busier time of year. Instead, I think she thinks she's going to sit around like a hot mess and people will throw money at her to do stupid things. There was a market for that when COVID was just over, but people might not be as interested. Now she has to be interesting. Now she has to try. Now she has to earn views. I think she's pissed off her family. I think she's going to have to start with a chosen family because she didn't even mention Aunt Phyllis anymore. And Aunt Phyllis was like her, I don't know, I think she felt like she had someone on her side. And when Chantal's grandmother was alive, I think she felt the same way too. Now she's out there on her own. You'd give her $1,000 to go away. Typical Chantal. She wouldn't go away. Well, I'll go away for $1,000, but that's super chat. YouTube takes a cut of that, and I need more. You know, you guys? Really? The aunt did ask her to get a full psych eval. Well, I remember she blew it up, and her family was going to intervene. She did some dumb shit, and to try to get her way out of it, she pretended she was wildly unwell mentally. And then she circled the bases and everyone's all together and everyone's patting her on the shoulder and we're worried about you. I know it's serious this time. And then she'll make all the follow-up plans, feel good about herself, and follow up with none of them. None of the doctors, none of the professionals. She'll lie and say it's fine now. But the one that she threw away that was set up, I think the family, because she's not going to apply to like some big chain and get approved. You know, her citizenship status is, you know, her money, the way she gets a non-traditional income. Most people don't get paid once a month from Google. So, and it's a flexible amount of money. You know, can she say month to month what on average she makes? If Chantal was the kind of person that kept books or looked at her analytics, she could probably give you an idea. But I think Chantal just goes on and she makes videos until she knows she has enough for the bills to be paid. And then that's it. She's just, it's gonna be me. No, I've heard of, no word yet. It's possible they co-signed or even just put their neck out. You know, like my parents have a rental property. My mom and my aunt do, they own it. And they have leases. The place is legal, everything's on the up and up. But sometimes you can have sort of an informal month-to-month lease with someone where you pay by the month and, you know, so you're not locked in. I get the feeling that her family one last time was willing to put their neck out and she didn't think the place was nice enough for her. And she missed Sala, so she got on a plane, turned around and went back. If you called me begging from halfway around the world, begging, which was the only reason she probably got their attention because it seemed so desperate, to turn around right after that and go, sorry. Thanks for getting me out of that jam, but I'm a different person now. The kind of person who doesn't need handouts. So I'm going back to Syria. She'll get a cat. She said when she's settled, she'll get a cat. She will. Her idea of settled is I put my bags down. Time means very little to Chantal. Maybe sometime, maybe later. She leaves a lot of windows open to do things later that she said she'll do like now, but doesn't do. Like, oh yeah, this place needs a great coat of paint on it. That doesn't mean she's thinking about getting ready to go paint. That just means she's noticed. And yeah, she will have a cat within a week. She thinks it's like furniture. Like when you move, you have to have this and this and this and the pet. But the pets are for her. It's not to share something with an animal. It's not back and forth. The cat is supposed to love her the same way her partners are, because they're fed and clothed and housed by her. So a cat would have a lot of nerve not jumping into her lap and being sweet about it after everything she's done. Somebody done fucked her up as a kid. Bad. Someone fucked her up bad as a kid. Because she's stuck in this arrested development portion that's not like... I mean, she's done on par with other 40-year-olds. We'll say that. A pet is not disposable. And a pet cannot buy its own food. The pet can't get, you know, if we run low on money, we don't have kids. So, I mean, it would probably be different then. But if we run low on money, the cats have to eat before we do. They didn't choose these circumstances. They didn't choose to only get their food from Mark and I. We did. So we have to make sure that they're okay because they're the most... They can't do for themselves what I can do for them. Are cats resilient? Yes. They'll drink out of the toilet and eat you after you're dead for a while. But in the meantime, it's not too hard to keep them happy. And, you know, maybe Julia's just a one-person cat and the person's Sala. Like, I love Bandit, but he's decidedly Mark's cat and not mine. He sits with him, he comes up and cuddles with him. He's the one he comes looking for when he gets home, so it's not me. Oscar is everybody's cat. You know, different vibe. But I don't think... It is like a weird science experiment, isn't it? She writes off her shitty decision-making as, you know, whimsical. You guys know how spontaneous I am. You know how whimsical I am. I don't want any pressure on me. She wants zero expectations. Period. And for Chantal, that doesn't just mean she doesn't want the more strict ones from the culture she's now leaving. She doesn't want any, period. I don't want to be expected to cook. I don't want to be expected to pay my taxes. I don't want to be expected to do anything. Don't they know who I am? So, I don't know. But yeah, I've burned family bridges before. Like when I was in my addiction, it wouldn't have been a surprise if everybody just disappeared and stopped calling and stopped coming over, because of course they would. People get sick. Healthy people wear out being around shit like that. And I don't know that I would call Salah healthy, but he's got her number already. You complain a lot. You're sick every time we ask you to do something. You don't want to move. The only thing she's excited about is eating and laying down. And maybe it took him a minute to really get his head around the fact that even outside of Kuwait, she was still going to be like this. Like, she wasn't, like, putting it on. This is the way of life that she really sold to him that she was going to be on board for. And we all know she wasn't and won't be going forward. She'll keep the hijab in case she gets another bite on Tinder or what have you. She might have to go on Grindr to go find Salah. Just maybe, you know. So I'm not optimistic for what going forward. The apartment, she said, was awful to get, and the last one was tough to get. The last one, I think, was like I said, a good handshake, month-to-month kind of lease. And she blew off somebody else's effort. You know, somebody else probably put their neck out or paid a little extra or had to do a lot of talking to get them to rent to someone who is out of the country to have a space for them when they get here based on an income that is not dependable and you have no previous address. So whoever's helping her on the mainland are doing a lot. And she's really ungrateful a lot of the time. So it's not even like she needed all this help and she got all the help and said thank you. It's that she needs all this help. She gets all this help. But she's like, I wanted to be helped differently. I mean, yeah, I wanted to move out of Syria, but I didn't want to move into a studio apartment. You precocious brat. Someone else will find her. Any other scammer who watched 3 years of her throwing money, you know, bad after worse. Yeah, she needs to put herself... Who said it best? Sophia. There's a radical shift in priorities. She's gonna put herself first for a change. Who's been first the whole time? Chantal always looks out for number one as like a survival-y type skill. Elabelle, welcome to the Smoky Deck. How are you? How are you? Do take a spot. But, she's not. Canada looks like a sweet plum, and it probably did to Sala. It probably looked like, oh, I have a new person. This one's going to be my connection. But I imagine he withheld stuff from her as much as she did withhold things from him. And short of the multi-year plan, now she's going back to Canada for good. First of all, she lies like she breathes. So the fact that she said for good and then disappeared for a few days doesn't really have to mean anything. It could, but that's our fair lady. That's how she rolls. Yeah. She looks out for number one, but she's also helpless in doing that. Like, behind a keyboard, she's fucking mean as shit. But meet her in person, and she's shy laughter, dusting the crumbs off her face and keep it moving. When people have encountered her or seen her in public, her demeanor's very different. It's not at all. I mean, we have that side-by-side picture of her and French Fry Girl hugging, embracing. Now, maybe she just wanted a picture with her, but, how much more venom could have gone back and forth there? And when push came to shove, when she met her in person, they took a picture together. Smile big! So she's nothing in person. All the things that she threatens and all the things that she says she can wield from behind the scenes, she can't. She's just some girl at her house on her phone doing this. There's not and I do think that if we're going to be so proud of ourselves the way she is and so outward in the way that she's back now and here's how things are going to go, it's not going to go the way that she thinks, because she's not going to find another Sala. She's not going to find people who are just going to be okay with being paid for and bought. Pete's is okay with it because Pete's is easy breezy. I still think of Pete's as a vulnerable person, and that she takes advantage of that. Now, they've been friends forever. So what does that mean? She's been taking advantage of him since 3rd grade. That's all that means. That means she's got a long line of doing those kind of things. Her haphazard life is desirable to some people. I think she sold herself on the idea and then tried to sell the audience on the idea that she was a travel vlogger, that she was going to go out and she was going to see all parts of the world. The first red flag that it wasn't going to be like that was when she went to Thailand and she just stayed there. You think she'll be offered deals to make money when she lands back? It's possible. It's possible. I mean, she's obviously willing to go through the motions. Yeah, ignore and mock. Well, that's how she goes. Ignore. I ignore them and then I mock them. That's how she keeps her men. Anyway. Pressing around the curtains. Okay, so when she does land, she's not going to have a place to... She will have a place to stay. Let's stick with some facts. She says that when she lands, she has a place to stay. It took a while to get. It was hard to get, but she got it. She also says that the Nashies are going to be in place for when she wants to come home. She's also going to have to rent a car because nobody's coming to get her. How bad? I just took a 18-hour flight from a war-torn country. Her words, war-torn country. And people are so unhappy to see her that they won't even come pick her up. Yeah. The thing with the Pete's chat just pissed me off the most. That still pisses me off. And then bringing in your muscle from your chat room to do what? To put everybody in line to let Pete's know where he stands. The whole going into Pete's chat, it's so selfish and so manipulative. And I feel a little bad for Pete's, but he gets something out of it too. If he wasn't so shiftless and lazy, he'd be maybe engaged in life. Maybe he would have the kind of friends where he wouldn't put up with the kind of shit she does. Maybe he thinks he can't make a nicer friend or a better friend. Or maybe he did make a few, and Chantal saw them in his chat and needs to make sure there's a wedge. She talks about the chat putting a wedge between her and Pete's. It's her putting a wedge between Pete's and reality. The inability to experience pleasure. Yeah, he could. He's very, it's possible. Like I said, I don't diagnose, but if he said he had it, I wouldn't be surprised that he's not able to experience pleasure in any form. He's also kind of like, flat affect. Yeah. Well, the sympathy I have for Pete is because he's, victim to her. But for the rest of his life, Pete isn't terribly ambitious. Pete could probably do more with help, but vulnerable adult is what I was saying, that Pete doesn't need to be like in a group home or anything like that, but some social supports could help him have a better life. I know that he was engaged in treatment at one point, going to therapy, and he liked it, and then he stopped, probably because he didn't have a ride or didn't want to Zoom anymore. He needs someone in his corner. But apparently so does Chantal if she's bringing in mods. I'm going to show you how things go around here. This is how you're going to talk about me. Who the fuck are you? I don't go into random people's chats and say like, hey, and then call Pete out in front of everybody to embarrass him, which is the point. A proud, confident man would not put up with her shit. So she's got to air dirty laundry in front of all the people that he thinks are his friends and remind him in front of them that they're only there for her. Chantal thinks no one cares about Syrian news at all, just because she's there. Fucking self-centered. Nobody cares about it till you were there? Wow. No one liked you. No one was in your chat until it was me. She wants to take credit for all of that. He's too passive, because he'll let her get away with disrespectful things and write it off as, oh, well, that's just Chantal. That's just how she is. Yeah, she's just disrespectful. And it should make you wonder why she left for 3 years, came back, not only no husband, no friends. She didn't meet anybody in Syria at all, except for Salah, that she might try to stay in touch with. She didn't make any friends. She didn't have any of the other women that she was connected to, because she separated herself. I mean, if she had her phone up to her face, she might as well have not been there. And she just did that the whole time. So, I hear Mark. Mark! Yeah. Nothing. Huh? Nothing. Just saying hi. Hi. Mark's home. You don't eat anything? So, well, I didn't realize until I got going on this, I don't really like the bread so much. As someone with autistic people in their life, if he is on the spectrum, it's no excuse. Well, it would explain, but not excuse. Yes.
Oh, no, I thought you were in the kitchen. I forgot.
Oh, no, yeah, we're live.
Hi, everybody!
Mark says hi. Mark says hi. Same thing with folks with mental health, and I agree when you say that. Just because someone has a mental health condition or maybe an intellectual, difference, that kind of thing, it doesn't excuse shitty behavior. Like, if Chantal does have oppositional defiant disorder, eating disorder, all the other stuff that goes with it, even if all that's true, that doesn't give her an excuse to treat people poorly. Now, I used to drink a lot, and of course I would go off at the mouth and think I was this. Anytime I got a few drinks in me, I was the funniest guy. I thought funniest guy in the room, the smartest guy in the room, the most attractive man in the room, all of that stuff. And the only person who was being the fool in that situation was me. So she's going to return home and I think make a fool of herself thinking. Now, when she left, she was making like a lot of money in the 5 figures per month range. The kind of money other people would call, she made in 1 month what would be life-changing money for some people who are on the lower income spectrum. That would get them out of and put them in such a different place. She earns her money, she can do with it what she wants, but it's curious that one person can be so wasteful with so many resources. Think of how much food you could buy for 10 grand a month, and then think that you only bought it for yourself. And something for the guy who will go downstairs and get it for me. When Salah moves on, thing is that now that Salah's separated, people are going to pursue. They pursued him while they were still technically married, with the fecophilia and all that kind of stuff that came with it. That happened as part of two people being in a relationship. So whatever he does after this is all him. And what kind of string is she going to be able to pull on him? She's half a world away. He's surrounded by his family. She's not coming back over. So what could she possibly do? She has nothing to pull out from under him, unless there's still some immigration stuff spinning in the air. Oh, she doesn't know how to make a budget. She doesn't spend like that. She hasn't had to. She hasn't had to say, this is how much money I have for the month. She's always willing to go the extra mile, i.e. beg, if the funds aren't where they could be. All that they could be. But, I mean, y'all are nice. I like everyone that comes to our chats. I would never insinuate that I needed $10,000, and if you guys really liked me, you'd at least send a super chat. I mean, she totally abandoned dignity towards the end and said, yeah, I'm just going to sit here and beg until you guys give me enough money to leave. She stopped making content. She made one mukbang to cover it while she's allegedly traveling right now. And it was just her sucking down bones, eating fried chicken. And it was not pretty. She didn't have a really good mukbang setup. I think she just wanted an excuse to eat. I would be careful if I were her eating before I get on a plane, considering it's hard for her to get up. It's hard for her to move around. I can't imagine Chantal in an airplane bathroom. Is she going? Oh, I missed that one. She's just going to eat her nashies. Maybe. It's not Chantal will make decisions entirely in her best interest, and then sometimes totally not in her interest. Like, going back to Syria this time, when he said, don't come over here, he wasn't like being polite. He wasn't like, oh no, don't come yet, the home isn't ready for you. It was like, don't stay where you are. And then she was back again. She's gonna feel like it's hers. I helped build the place, okay? The place wouldn't have a roof if it wasn't for me. So of course I can come over whenever I want, all right? People are gonna start to remind her that divorced means divorced. But she's very careful in her words. She said, we're currently separated with the eventual goal of being divorced. Everything short of if you're not divorced, you're married. If you're not divorced, you're married. So until you decide to be divorced, on paper, you're married. That's it. To the extent that you ever were. Was it more of a faith-based marriage than an actual one? There was different degrees of, what do I want to say? Different degrees of marriage, where you might be this close or this close or this close. So, no shame. She's going to get in a situation. She's primed. I mean, she's a walking tourist. She always has her phone out. Her big expensive phone, walking, not looking, up, down, left, right. For considering she's traveled abroad this much, and the only thing that happened was the busboy was able to get what did you take? Not her laptop, her iPad. She exchanged it for sex with a busboy in Cuba. That's a believable Chantal story. That I could see happening. That's totally believable. So, to that end, she's either in the air right now, or she's landed and she's beezing somewhere. I thought maybe for a minute, it was the laptop, thank you. I thought for a minute maybe that apartment that she had, and somebody had suggested, and I thought it wasn't a bad idea, that she never really left it. She didn't like it at the time, but that she left that apartment that we're guessing the family helped set up to go back to Syria. But is that place still there? Did she lose the place? Did she not care if she lost it? She kind of made it sound like it wasn't really for her. It wasn't really the kind of setup she liked. She had to get a window unit for the air conditioner, and she just complainy bird. People are willing to go out of their way to speak on your behalf and give money on your behalf from halfway around the world. And these people were only lukewarm about her to begin with. And to stay there for a handful of days and be like, nah, I don't want to stay here. It's not really for me. I'll go back to Syria. When you're not welcome anywhere. Like, where and who are throwing their arms open saying, oh, Chantal, thank God you're here. Anybody in her life? Pete's is probably the closest. So, Gonna stay in Montreal for a few days, allegedly. Is Natter out on bail still? She's gonna be in Montreal. She's fresh off the boat. She can pretend to be Muslim for his sake. She'll go for the rebound because she's convinced, she doesn't know, but she's convinced that Salva's going to find somebody else while she's gone. So she's going to do it also very quickly because she doesn't want to lose face. So they split, she comes back, Sala starts talking to somebody new, she gets angry. She starts talking to somebody new, Sala doesn't care. He won't care, but she'll tell us that he cares. Because it was just, we have so much history together, you know? They wanted her out yesterday. She was probably in a room at the end of a hallway, which it was because it was too far to the bathroom after she shit and threw up all over their home. I'm sure she offered to clean, too. But they knew how she'd clean it, so they probably did it for her. She hasn't participated beyond the laundry. If she was doing as much as the other women, you would never hear the end of it. If she was doing as much as the other folks were doing, you never hear the end of it. No way. She'd be talking about it nonstop. I did all this and I did all that. And then she had periodic meltdowns. I don't want to do laundry right now, okay? I don't feel like it. I don't feel like doing it. But she said, you get what you ask for. She said what she wanted was like a top in bed. And she liked Middle Eastern guys. And somehow that turned into this situation. So she ended up with a man with his own unique erotic interests, set up shop with him, paid for a life for the two of them to be together. And the only downside to the situation was that it had to be with Chantal. There's people who make similar arrangements, I'm sure, outside of marriage, but Chantal makes it really difficult to love her. She makes it very difficult. And if you say that you love her, she co-signs all of her other bullshit with it. So, love me, love my addiction. Love me, love my indecisiveness. You know, you can't be mad at me for changing my mind. I was just being whimsical. You know how I am. I hate expectations. She did go to Pennington's for the new outfit. She did do that. Oh, no problem, Corey. Thanks for having me here. We'll be wrapping up probably in a little bit because there's not much else she's doing right now. I don't think, except bothering the person next to her on the flight. And I totally, with her coming into Montreal, think she will send Natter a text, especially now that him and Dee Dee aren't together. I think he continues to be embarrassed by her because she can't do any of the things that a wife was supposed to do. And she'll say, oh, physically, I can't do it. Physically, I can't do that either. We're getting to the point now where when she gets off the plane, she just gets right onto the scooter. She takes the handicap transit. They have usually little just shuttles in a very big airport, which, you know, is what she'd be changing flights in. But, you know, now that she's handicapped, she can ask for all these other extra little bonus things. So, I get embarrassed for Sala when she would say some things for him. I mean, fuck him, really, but I would feel embarrassed for him by some of the way she would act. This is my wife. She's lived here for 3 years, but she can't even say more than hello to you. Her disinterest was betrayed by the things that she didn't get into. She didn't care about the call to prayer. It's in the background while she's sucking on a bone. Ding dong, and she's licking her fingers. So she was never really married to the faith so much. And I think if Sala was of a different faith, she would have converted to that one too. But she would have made that decision like she did this one, like with only 3 weeks of knowing the guy. I know, yeah. I think he's embarrassed. I think he didn't want to be around her. I think he's filming her in public. He would show other people staring at her. Like, Sala was no saint. When he was doing footage, you could see out of the corner those people are staring at her. They're staring at her. He'll hold the camera while she was struggling. Like, remember when she went on a boat? And we saw her getting down to the boat? We didn't see her coming off the boat because it took the work of 8 fishermen, probably, to get her off the boat and onto dry dock. What was telling then was that when she was having trouble getting out of said boat. Sala was not helping her. Sala was holding the camera. So his priorities slipped out here and there too. It wasn't like he was just some, you know, sweet, dumb guy that she just happened to put her claws into. You know, he had bad intentions too, I think. So, you know, I don't really feel, I mean, you reap what you sow. You want to run a marriage scam, you're going to meet a marriage scammer. You're going to run into Chantal. But no, I don't think she's done with Syria. She said she was so firm saying she was going back to Canada for good that I don't think it's for good. Besides, she's like, you guys know I just want to travel bees. Oh, I happen to have a layover in Syria on my way to wherever I was going next. She's going to have to readjust to how much she has coming in and how expensive everything is now since she left. So I don't know if she has this dream that she's going to bank up a whole lot of money real quick. That the second she lands on Canadian soil, all of a sudden 200, 300,000 people who weren't interested are all of a sudden going to be watching. You know, it's not going to shake down like that. I don't think it's going to work like that. She'll come back, but she's not left Canada for good. My prediction, she's not going to be back in Canada for good. Maybe through the holidays. She'll be having fights with Beezers as if to have a fight with Sala. So she'll be in the chat talking to Beezers who will say, well, you know, you guys are divorced. You know, it's got to move on. And she'll say things like, I didn't think you could move on that fast. Like, we just got out of a relationship. We're still technically married. That technically married and maybe we'll get divorced eventually is the chain around his neck. That's what keeps him nearby. Because now he's in deep with her. I would understand him wanting to ghost her completely. And I think anybody would for the situation he found himself in after all that. But yeah, she's going to have to hustle. She's going to have to start doing some karaoke. What else can she do for money? I mean, she's just a dancing bear anyway. She just wants the money. She doesn't care why. If she can make it eating, if she can make it scamming, if she could make it any way she'll make it. You know, she'll do it. Her job is YouTube, but she's not passionately married to any one topic other than herself as the center of the channel. You know, there's nothing she talks about more that gets more views than her. So, fleece the Beezers. Those poor bastards, too. I mean, they really think they're, like, there's people, we couldn't do lives for the first couple of years, but once we started doing them, there's people that I've been friends with, even just chat buddy friends with, some more intimate, some less intimate, depends on how often you see people and talk to them. But it's been years. I mean, there's people who are regular in our chat that were at our wedding, and we streamed the rest of it for everybody else to be part of. I don't think she could fill a room with as many people as would have gone to her wedding. I don't think she could have filmed more. Well, if she's in the room, it fills less, but you know what I mean. Get her flagged, get her passport flagged so she can't leave Canada again. Just make a few phone calls. Just a few secret phone calls, and that way she won't be able to fly. She won't be able to land in Canada. There's another one. Everyone watches the reaction channels. She thinks the reaction channels won't go anywhere. It's not, like, there's some I do and don't watch, but it's never about, it's always about the creators or the reactors' interpretation of what's going on, or the thoughts going on. It's always about that. Her and Teardrop, oh God, poor Teardrop. Poor Teardrop. Because they're just another being used. 6 months, asked Chantal. Do you remember Teardrop? She'll say, who? Who? I'm sorry, I don't remember. Well, folks, we've had a fun chat tonight. I demolished 2 pieces of bread with some jam on it, a little bit of a diet soda, and some green tea. Or herbal tea, rather. So thank you all for joining me this evening for another dinner time. We did a little foodie chat. Normally we'd have more material, but she's circling the airport right now, apparently. So when she comes back, we'll definitely touch base and let you know. It won't be news. Every channel will, you know, when she comes back. So, but we'll touch base probably next week, or if not a little sooner, to talk about her, if there's any updates. So thank you all for joining me tonight. Thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe. Hit the thumbs up on your way out if you'd be so inclined. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. All our contact information's listed below as well. Thanks, and we will catch up with you very, very soon. All right, look after yourselves, look after each other. We'll talk soon. Bye.